Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Killer Collab podcast. I am being joined once again with Chris Lato, Reaper Film.
What's up?
And we're joined by special guests Mace and Zach. Hello.
Hey.
You guys doing okay? How
Yeah,
you
we're
good?
doing great.
Did you find the place okay?
More or less.
More or less. I mean, we are in a random warehouse, so it's
Yeah.
kind of scary.
Looking for like a sign.
Oh yeah, no sign. No sign. I want people to know I'm here. Unless I tell them where I am. And I don't. Anyway, so Mace, tell me a little about yourself. Tell the audience.
Yeah, Mace is kind of the Tampa it girl right now.
Dun, dun, dun.
I'm 20. I work at Panera, and I'm also a director. And I just finished my first feature film, and I had a private screening at the Tampa Theater, and I screened it to everybody who was involved and a few people who weren't involved, and just got all their feedback and everything, good and bad. So yeah.
There's always bad. Always people got to say bad stuff.
Yeah.
It happens. It happens.
So, how old are you, Mace?
20.
20 years old. So, I asked my son, who is 18, the other. So, you basically started writing your script at 17, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then you started shooting the movie, and it took you like 2 years, right, to finish?
It took me. Alright, so it started at 17 and I shot a promo at the end of the year. Then I turned 18 at the beginning the next year. And then we started filming the movie. And I finished it like literally 3 times. And then I just reshot the movie again and kept reshooting it until I liked it. So, yeah, so I guess like 3.5 years, like, because I edited the whole thing like by myself. It's 2.5 hours. So it's like, it just took a lot of time.
Did you teach yourself how to edit, or did someone help you, or?
Mainly, like, I learned to edit in a day from a film camp I went to when I was 16.
Oh, nice. A day.
And I just learned to do, like, clips, like, just, like, little cuts and stuff on, like, Adobe. And I just was, like, fascinated with it. So I just self-taught myself mostly everything in there. And then I just started watching YouTube tutorials. And then Zach's always there to, like, help me, like, organize my timeline. Because I didn't know what, like, nesting was or anything, and I like didn't even make different sequences. Like I had like everything on one timeline.
Right, that's how I edit.
No, I do too. That's exactly how I edit too. I don't do the whole put piece. I don't do it that. I can't do it that way. I can't. I just do one timeline, so I know how to function my script. I have my script, and then I have edit. That's it. That's how I pretty much piece everything together.
That's how I do it too.
Because it's easiest way for me to just read left to right
together.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like I don't comprehend putting different sequences and then putting it all in together, and I don't know how to do that. Yeah. I started editing with Sony Vegas Pro.
Oh wow.
Back when I started, and I mean that was 2010. And again, self-taught, just like yourself. I just kind of figured out how to do it, and then I got a job where I was doing video for a dental company, and they did like marketing for dentists, and we would fly all over the country doing videos for them, and they used Adobe Premiere. So I had to learn that, and I literally learned it in a week how to do it. And now I just use Adobe Premiere. It's just what I use now.
Fun fact, I started editing before Final Cut Pro even came out. So back in 2002, when I started editing, it was all analog. VHS, like I had to do the actual spinny thing, and then one screen to one screen, blend them together. Like I was before computer programs. So I've been doing editing for so long. So whenever I find a new program to help me do all that once, oh my God, it's so much easier. I use many different programs, but doing it analog like that takes like weeks. Weeks. Well, now I can edit a video in.
I don't even know what analog means. So
yeah, it's.
I don't really either.
We used to load a VHS in the one machine, put another VHS in another machine, and then have the mixer in the middle, and then basically you do this. Oh my God!
I mean, right when I got into making movies in 2010, and that's right when DSLRs started becoming popular. The Canon T2i was like the new coolest camera that made it look like a movie.
It still looks cool.
Blurs the background, and made it look cinematic, and that's what we started making movies on. And actually, I used a T3i up until probably like 4 years ago.
Yeah,
And-
that's still my backup camera, T3. Yeah,
Right.
I love that camera.
And so I shoot with a Blackmagic 4K Pocket now. I just got it, and I had a Sony A7S II that I use. But then, Jason Henney, he's got Alexa Mini, Reds,
Nice.
Ari Alexa. He's got all kinds of stuff. He's got thousands and thousands of dollars. And so when we shoot high-end stuff, we use his stuff. But what's intriguing to me is how young you are, and like normal. I'm not saying you're abnormal, but you kind of are. A normal person that's 17, 18 years old isn't thinking about making movies. They're thinking about, oh, where am I going to go to college? Where am I going to get a job? What am I going to do for my life? And then we have this person that's writing a script. I haven't seen the movie. I've seen the trailer and just heard about it. It seems pretty heavy topics. And someone your age writing something like that and putting all these people together that are probably older than you, and I know that when you're young and you have other people that have been in the industry, it's very hard to gain respect. And I don't know how you got the respect, but I mean, it's pretty amazing to me that you are able to put this movie together and finish it, because a lot of people don't. A lot of people are like, oh, I want to make a movie someday. I want to make a movie someday. And they don't ever do anything.
Yeah, when I was 20, I was just doing I was actually hosting a TV show at the time, but had no functionality of storyboards. I did not care. I did not care when I was hosting that TV show. I just had fun and was 20, 21 years old. I just did what any other 20 in Atlantic City. It's where I grew up. So it's a little bit. It's to have a focus of that, and then keeping a level head in that whole process. That at that age, I commend and I definitely respect
It's
that.
crazy.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. Like, I didn't make my first movie till I was 40 years old. And I just made a movie based on how I felt a movie's made, and didn't know any better. And my first movie was fucking terrible. But that was my film school. And I learned what not to do over what to do. And I always, throughout the years, have surrounded myself with people that know way more than I do, and learned as much as I can from those people, just to make myself better and better and better. And so how was it on set with you, again, being younger than pretty much everybody else in the crew and cast, and like, how did you gain their respect?
I think it took a really long time too. I don't think I gained anyone's respect until I got Zach's help like a year later. I have really bad ADHD, and I'm also not like socially aware sometimes, so I kind of just speak my mind, and I think that I came off pretty, I don't know, I wouldn't say like egotistical, but I had like this vision in my head, and like everyone was just gonna do it.
Right.
And I think I came off really passive aggressive, which wasn't my like intention. It was that I just wanted everyone to see my vision, but because I wasn't diagnosed at the time, I didn't have any sort of like medication to like, I guess, assemble my thoughts and be able to communicate that to my team. And like I always say that there's like a difference between being a boss and being a leader.
Right.
And I was just trying to be a boss. And I mean, but I was in high school, and a lot of people didn't know that I was 17. I put out a casting call before I had a script, and that's obviously a big no. And
I'm actually doing that right now.
Are you? Well, and the girl.
And it's been a nightmare.
The girl that I cast was 15, and I wrote a very mature role
Right.
for that, for Christy. And when she saw my casting call, I made my own headshot. Like, I just used my iPhone, and I took a picture, and I blacked out the background, and like fucked with the lighting and all that. And then I just acted like, oh, well, I've had experience before. I only had like a student film at a festival one time, but like, so I kind of like feel like I almost like scams people in a way accidentally. I got people to like fly down and do this promo with me.
But that's what a producer is, a salesperson. Like,
yeah.
I've sold so many people to be in my movie, work on my movie for literally nothing. Like, I had a guy that did high-end, like $10,000 music videos in New York, did Fashion Week, like big stuff. and he moved down here and was trying to get into the film and here. And I had a DP. We had shot 2 days, Housewife Slasher. We shot 2 days, and he broke his foot, and like bad, like it was bad. Like he was out for a year. So I needed a new DP because I didn't shoot at the time. I didn't know anything, and so this guy, I reached out to him on the Florida Film Network. He had this amazing reel, like in helicopters and all this crazy stuff. And so I met with him at the mall and literally sold my movie to this guy, and he shot the movie for like $300.
Wow.
And you know, I've always been good at like selling. You got to sell yourself. You got to sell your product, and that's basically what a producer does. To assemble a team, you got to sell these people and make them believe in you and your project.
Yeah.
You know, and it sounds like you did that.
That's right. I think I did a lot of it through emails, and I mean, I had another like assistant at the time that like, I mean, I've like had so many like weird like drama things happen like with my. I'm not even gonna act like I didn't, you know.
It happens. It happens.
But like we had a falling out and everything, and I was just working without an AD for a while, and I mean, I had like half the cast just decided they didn't want to work on it anymore, and they. Some of them like terminated my Facebook group page that I had for everybody, and so like we had to make another one, and it was just like it just didn't look like the film was gonna work out. Like originally it was 40 pages. It was about bullying. It had a political stance, and I mean now it doesn't. It's just bullshit from my head, you know now. But I don't want to take sides politically because I'm not really about that. I'm just about the art. But originally I was wanting to just take the side of like. I don't know, like what was like most popular. Like at the time, like my school was experiencing a lot of like drills for like school shootings and stuff.
Right.
So I was like, let me make something that like kind of has to do with this. So I was writing this. I actually wrote this in math class on my phone. But the script changed drastically. Like it is not even the same story. But when I first started, like I wanted to make almost like a PSA, like a bullying PSA, and it was just coming out like cringy as shit. But like I like at the time thought, oh, it's so good, you know, and people are gonna cry during this. It's gonna be so awesome. But I mean, now I look back and I'm like, oh, this sucks, man. But yeah, that was like my original like plan was to just make this whole thing like, oh, these kids get bullied and then they shoot up a school, and I'm like, that kind of sounds fucked up. Like maybe I should like do something a little bit, you know.
But that's real.
It is
like
real.
That's real life.
But I didn't want anyone to like think that I was glorifying, like just making an excuse, like, hey, if someone bullies you, you should probably shoot them. Like that's not what I wanted to say. So it was just hard to kind of navigate. Like I don't even want to like say because like I'm a female, but it did make it harder because I did have to like kind of weed out who was creepy, who wasn't, especially since majority of
men are creepy.
Men.
Sure.
Oh no.
No, they are.
I'm working with men.
Trust me, they are.
But,
this is also that industry where it has a bad stigma of that situation in general.
Casting couch. I mean, it's real.
There's
I mean,
there's a terrible stigma. Like just look at Hollywood now with the Me Too movement and all that Weinstein drama. Like how long have they been doing this? Like
I mean, I know local filmmakers that I'm not going to mention names, but they literally make movies so they can meet girls. Like that's why they do it.
I know. That's
and it's crazy. I'm like, what?
Creepy.
Like, there's nowhere else you can meet a girl but to make some stupid fake movie, and it's literally like he cast them, and then next thing I know, they're going to dinner. Oh, I'm meeting so and so for dinner to talk about this. I'm like, okay, that's what you're gonna talk about.
The art in that shit. Like,
it's terrible.
Just lose the passion in it.
Well, it's the same reason why people buy or own nightclubs too. They do the same thing. Like, oh, let's buy a round of drinks over here, and then they just start trying to date that person or date anybody or dating scene. It's just like I said, but in this industry has that bad stigma attached to it. So there's always going to be that creepiness to it, and that's what's unfortunate to a lot of us artists who try to get like good projects out and try to get respect like right off the bat. So we have to make as much as we can, like make as many films as we can or many projects as we can, just to and meet as many people, just so we can get that level of respect,
legitimacy.
Yeah. So they recognize us. That's the toughest thing to get in this industry, and that's
and it just progressed into like this. Like we were supposed to only shoot it for like a week. I had like an all male crew. It was just me, like I'm in high school, whatever. So what started out as a 1 week like project just spiraled out of control because I had just so much chaos on set. There was so much tension because I could not get my shit together.
Mhm.
I didn't know anything about call sheets. I called out extras hours before I filmed them. I just can't even like name every mistake that I've done because it was just so
Right.
bad. But I didn't have any guidance, so basically.
And that's funny because I've seen, like, I don't remember when we became Facebook friends. I don't know why or how or what. I mean, I'm friends with a million people. I don't even know half of them. And I started following your posts because I was intrigued. I was like, God, this is a young person like trying to put a feature together. Like, making a movie is not easy. And I told you before the show that, you know, we just made 2 features since June and blah blah blah. It's hard. Like, it's not an easy task to make a feature film, to make even a short film. You know, to get all these people together in one place to shoot something, to get a crew, to get equipment, to get locations, to get money, like all of that stuff is really hard.
Yeah.
And I'm having a tough time right now. I'm trying to put a cheerleader movie together, and I need a locker room with a shower. Seems like a pretty easy location, right?
Man, yeah.
Nightmare. Like, it is the hardest location I've ever had to get. I've probably got 200 locations in my life, and I can't find it. It's incredible. So it's hard. And, you know, back to my original thought, I was talking to my 18-year-old son the other day, and I was talking about you, and I was like, let me ask you a question. If you had an idea for a movie, do you think you could write a script, put a movie together, get money, and like edit it yourself and make it? He was like, hell no, like absolutely not. There's no way. That thought doesn't even enter his brain. And he's a movie lover, he's creative, and there's like no way. And the fact that you were able to complete it is fast. That's why I want to have you on, because I just think it's a fascinating story. And I think your film is going to be successful, whether it's good or not. Again, I haven't seen it, based on your story. People are going to want to watch it. And, you know, so that's something that you definitely have going for you is we have a young, ambitious person that finished something. And that in alone is a miracle. Every movie you ever see on the screen is a miracle. Every one of them. I don't care how much money they have or who's in it or whatever. It's a miracle to make something. So you got through about a year of shooting this, and then, so what happened after that?
Well, since it was only supposed to be a week, I was like, this is impossible, because my first AD was telling me, he like was his own thing also. He would shoot features, like 45-minute features in like 2 days. Like you guys, you know how you do, but he had his own way of doing things. Like, he would only do everything in like one shot, but he wanted like set design, and it was just like not pretty to look at, and it wasn't like, I don't know, it just wasn't enough. So I like wanted to make this whole production, and he was like, you can't do that. Like, you don't have the resources or the money. Like, you're just, you know, a kid. So, I mean, we had this whole falling out because he didn't handle things correctly, and neither did I. And
how much money did you have at the beginning?
I had, I think, $1,200 that I got through GoFundMe, and I also sold lines to theater kids for money. And
I didn't know about that.
You sold what, lines?
Lines to like you know, like high schoolers who want to be in a film.
You made them pay to be in your movie?
Yes.
That's
and
absolutely
I went through
crazy.
there's this really annoying place called Kids Casting. I'm sure you've gotten emails from
Kids
them.
Casting? Yeah, I've heard of that place.
It's like Matt from Kids Casting or David from Kids Casting or whatever, and they always email me, and they steal your casting calls and post it on their like weird shady like page, and then parents who are basically suckers will pay like hundreds of dollars for their kids
to have their kid be in a movie. That's so crazy.
I got a hold of these parents through Kids Casting and found them on like emails and stuff, and I was just like, hey, like, do you want to be in my film? I wasn't like shady about it.
How much were these people paying?
$50 to $100.
What?
So I was like,
I can't even get paid that much to be in a movie. It's
amazing.
Then I started like just like editing demo reels on the side because I had my little laptop, and it sucks. Its speakers don't work. I hooked it up to my Alexa, and I didn't have a mouse. I used a mouse pad, and I edited on a TV tray with like 3 legs. So it was like super janky. And then like things just stopped working for a while because the film was just a huge mess. I had 7 characters originally that were supposed to be like the main characters, and the storylines are crazy, and I had like just offensive things in there that I didn't know at the time were like politically incorrect that I should have never written in there in the first place.
You should watch
And I
Judge
was
Dredd.
like,
Oh
I mean,
my
there's just
god.
things that I was like, dude, like nobody can see this. So I went back and like kind of just went through it, and then like Zach like hits me up one day. 'Cause
Yeah, how did you guys meet?
I started filming again, and like I'm still having this hard time. And like I'm just this kid that like complains about everything on Facebook. Like, oh, I had a shitty day on set. Like nobody likes me, and that was basically me because
Right.
I'm like such
you
a
were
bitch
18 years
anytime
old.
anybody says anything about me, and I still am. But and it was just like kind of a lot of rumors going around about me, and it was just like I couldn't focus on anything else. So then like this guy named Zach Twitty like hits me up one day, and he's like, hey, I have a camera. Can I like come on set and help you out one day? And I was
It
like,
sounds so
yeah.
weird when
It
you
does.
say it that
It
way.
does sound creepy.
No.
Okay, so
I have a camera. You want me to shoot for you?
No,
so
always that.
I just got an offset. Somehow we became like Facebook friends. I think it was
Apparently, no one knows how they become Facebook friends with Mace Walker.
Well,
it just
kinda-
happens.
It just happens.
no, so we were supposed
Are we Facebook
to,
friends?
we were supposed to work on, I think it was Joe Davison's film.
Oh, Beauty
And-
so Deep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I
just
had a
watched that
conflict with, I was doing Music Man with St. Pete Opera at the same time, so I was like, oh, I'm not going to be able to be there like every day, and then I was supposed to be booming for that, and then like they just kind of stopped emailing me, and I was like, oh, okay, but I guess she would just like add everyone on the call sheet onto Facebook, so that happened, and I'd just gotten off of shooting The Connection with Nick Naylor and Rod Grant and Laura Stetman, and I was like in that, oh, I just did a movie, I want to like keep the
Keep it
inertia
going, sure.
rolling.
Oh yeah, just keep going.
Because it's like every 2 years I would work on a movie,
Right.
and then that was my first time running second camera for a film, and like once you're a cam op on a movie, it's like
it's
you're
like
a race
a
car driver.
sickness.
It's
Yeah.
weird,
It is weird.
and it's like, oh, I just want to shoot more and more, and like
That's funny.
Get
In
better with the
2012, 13, 14, I was shooting, I was DPing so many movies. And then all of a sudden, it just like stopped. It was weird. And then like there was like nothing going on. And then I guess I focused more on directing these big movies and I mean, I say big, but big for this area. And just kind of got out of it. And then after my movie Seeing Evil, I hated being on set so much on that movie. I quit. I quit for like 5 years. I didn't make anything for 5 years. And then Sean had a movie he wanted me to shoot for him. And I said, all right, man, I'll do it. And then I just kind of slowly got back into it. And now we're making shit like popcorn. Like it's crazy.
That's how I met you, through that movie. I think.
Yeah,
Dead
through
Residence.
Dead Residence, right?
That movie was
found
fun.
footage.
Yeah.
Hard. Like we made a found footage movie, and like we did. I don't even like found footage movies.
That was
He
another
doesn't like found footage.
That was another
movies,
5 day.
but they're super easy to make. And I mean, the cast is literally holding their phone, videoing, and it turned out to be like almost like our first movie we ever made. Like we didn't know what we were doing, and we were just kind of like, I guess he's got to hold it in front of his face. Like I don't know. And we were like, how do we get audio? And like it was
It's
just
like the next Blair Witch project.
Yeah, it was-
before you know
it was
you guys are
crazy.
famous, Yeah.
But the movie's got some issues, mostly technical issues.
Yeah.
You know, they were supposed to be like security cameras, and they were a little too dark. And you know, when you try to brighten it, it just looks like shit.
See, if you had your
And we were gonna reshoot it, and we couldn't get back in the house that we had.
I wouldn't want to get back in that house. My lungs
Yeah,
are
that
killing
house
me
was
after.
disgusting. We found a disgusting house.
It was awful.
And it was about these people, this couple that buys a new house to rehab, and they're like staying in the house, and the realtor that sold them the house is like stalking them in their attic, and like he comes out of the attic and does all this weird stuff while they're sleeping, and
Yeah, that's cool.
it was creepy.
I like it.
It was fun
but
to make. It was definitely fun to make.
technically not good, but
Do a sequel.
it was okay. It was okay. It's on I think on Tubi TV, and it's on
cool.
Amazon Prime, and you know, you can watch it.
Yeah.
It's not good, but
I mean, I think just in parts it just drags.
yeah,
Some of
it was funny because we got really good review. We always send our movies out to get reviewed by film reviewers, and that movie got a lot of really good reviews. And me and Sean are like, dude, I think this is like our worst movie, and all these people like it. Like, it's
But
weird.
some people just like that genre of found
guess,
footage.
yeah.
They have that niche.
I just don't like it.
I mean, I thought it was okay. I thought it was definitely fun to do.
Yeah,
I had a very
It was
small
fun
part
as
in that
hell
movie.
making it.
I
Yeah,
had
he was the pizza guy.
Pizza
right?
guy. I was the pizza guy.
They're
Pizza guy.
weird.
I didn't get killed though.
Found footage is always weird because the thing that bothers me about it is people are normally filming in found footage when
Right.
you wouldn't be
Right,
filming.
he wouldn't.
Yeah. It's the weird perception. Like
Yeah.
it's like, why are you filming that?
Yeah,
like
right.
what are you doing?
Yeah, I think that was the hardest part is
Mhm.
creating reasons for them to be filming each other.
Right.
And I think we did okay with that. I mean, they were rehabbing a house and they were
Mhm.
wanting to video it and show like before and after and
Oh,
stuff.
okay, yeah.
And then they found like a flash drive in one of the drawers and they
Ooh.
plugged it in and it was like all these people being tortured in a garage, and they figured out that's our garage. Like what the hell
Yeah.
is going
That
on?
kind of sounds like Sinister. Y'all ever seen that?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
That shit was
Yeah, it was
yeah.
kind of like that. And then and then we see the guy coming out of the attic and doing all this weird, like sniffing her feet and doing all this weird
Nice.
shit. And then you didn't know who he was until the very end. It reveals it was a
Dan
realtor.
Schneider or something like that.
And yeah, it was a weird movie.
It was definitely
But-
weird to make, but I thought it was
It's our
fun.
sicko minds.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a
But
weird.
yeah, it was fun to make. And the thing with found footage, you get no name people, so
Yeah.
that's cool.
Or
but-
Star Wars. Basically the same thing.
right.
Well,
So
the beginning,
back
what-
to I know to cut your story off. So you had a camera,
Mhm.
you met, reached out to her,
Mhm.
and
What kind of camera is that, by the way?
The Pocket 4K.
Oh, I
Love it.
it's a nice
Love
camera.
Don't mess up the LCD screen because it takes forever to get back from Blackmagic.
Oh yeah,
Have you heard about that? Like, when you send anything back to Blackmagic, it takes them forever to rehab it until you just want to buy another one.
Buy a new one.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they want you to
I think
do.
I just got mine for like $1,050.
Yeah. Well, now the 6K Pro.
I
is
love,
out.
that's my next camera I'm getting.
Yeah, and it's tempting, but then it's like, okay, well, I guess
got
I
better
finally
audio.
have to.
Yeah, and then you buy it, and you're like, oh, the 8K Pro is coming out. Oh, I
Well,
gotta
but
buy
it's
that
more
one.
the
It's
thing
like,
that
it
kept
never
me
ends.
from getting the 6K initially was, oh, I don't want it. Like full frame's great. I used a 6K for a gig and realized, oh wow, I could actually do gimbal shots
Yeah, yeah.
on a 50 with the 6K.
Yeah.
Unlike this.
Well, it's got the EF mount. So
Yeah.
So it's,
But I'd also have to like get a whole new set of lenses.
Right.
And I love using old weird stuff.
oh, okay.
Mhm.
The vintage
The
ones.
vintage,
Yeah,
that's
with
got the
the
best
adapters
class,
and
man.
stuff.
The vintage
Nice.
stuff is beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got an old Nikon 50 that I use, and I love it. I never use it.
I can never find a lens. I can never find a lens that I like. The old ones like that. They're always too scratched, or they're always just not in good condition. Like whenever I find them, like it's just not. I've just never lucked
Yeah.
out finding those lenses. Like, no matter where I look, I can never find one in good condition.
Well, a lot of them, they're a set of FD lenses I got from my dad's old bass player from his band. It came with what was it, like the Canon AE1, the old school
Yeah, yeah.
5D of the 80s.
yeah.
But I like to use those for the FD50. I found out was like a weirdly sought after vintage lens, and then you just throw an adapter on them, and
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
they're weird.
Can't you do that with the 6K if you just get an adapter?
Probably for those lenses, but for like the smaller C mount lenses and the Micro Four Thirds stuff, it's kind of native to that camera.
Yeah. Because the 4K is a Micro Four Thirds.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I didn't like about it. Because I have the 4K production camera and I have the 2.5K cinema camera, EF mounts. Like I just love EF mounts. I just keep EF
I
lenses
like
around.
the first one, the Canon Cinema,
Mhm.
Blackmagic Cinema. I like that
Oh
camera.
yeah, the 2.5. I didn't like the 1080p pocket camera.
That was the first camera I
Yeah,
ever got.
It was so small. Like I felt like I was
Yeah.
gonna break it. Everything. Like
It's funny
you got this,
'cause
you
it's
got the
called-
lens on it. Like
It's funny because now it's called the Blackmagic Pocket 4K, and you're like, whose pocket does this fit
Yeah.
into?
well, remember in the
giant.
90s we wore those big baggy pants.
Yeah.
You fit in those pockets.
Insane
cargo
Clown
pants.
Posse.
The
Yeah.
Jenko jeans. You can put in my Jenko jeans.
But it's still, I love that camera. It's great. And what I loved about the original Pocket was it was so simple. It didn't have all of like 900 Sony menus where
Yeah.
you have to have
Yeah, that was what's great
you have to
about
have a
it. They're
decoder
simple.
ring and a map from a cereal box to change your settings.
But I like the settings. You can put those, put the LUTs in. You can
Yeah.
program the LUTs into it. Like I do Arri Alexa LUTs in it. I found on, I think I found it on YouTube actually. One of the makers that they just put that LUTs in. It looks just like an Arri Alexa like video code. Like I love it.
Yeah, it's a camera that can easily stack up to Alexa's, I feel like, and
At a
just
fraction of
can't-
the price.
Yeah, and
Right.
like regular people, most professional people won't be able to tell the difference unless it's like graded super
It's funny
weird.
because I've been shooting with the A7S2 for probably like two to 3 years, and I just bought the Blackmagic Pocket 4K, and I shot a music video a couple weeks ago for the first time I used it. And when I got it home and put it in, I was like, wow, this is different. Like, it's awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely a feeling.
I wasn't a fan of the A7S2. Like, something about it I just didn't like.
I mean, it's very popular. It was like I don't like the utilization of I don't like the menus on the Sony. I just hate the menus. It's
the big thing.
hard to
No, the
configure on it.
Blackmagic is so simple.
Yeah, it's one screen.
All the screens and everything are simple. And
I will say,
us bored.
after looking at so most of this film was shot by the DP using a A7 III.
Yeah, it was a 3.
Was it the 3?
Yeah.
Okay. And I actually liked, well, for this film, I felt like the color that it had out of camera looked a lot better. And I was like,
They didn't shoot in log?
I think, some kind of S-Log. I don't know too much about their codec.
Well, it's basically like Blackmagic RAW, but it's in Sony codec. I think it's only a 8 or 10 bit. I think it is.
Well, there's different versions of S-Log.
did you shoot 4K?
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy,
Like,
handling all
those
that.
files must have been like
my computer.
Handling
like,
4K footage is tough,
I was doing it on a laptop,
especially if you got a
for
shitty
while.
machine.
It was,
I
went over to color grade.
Like, I got a Mac Daddy like gaming computer, and
it's all about the GPU. It's all about the GPU.
Sometimes it'll lag with like big giant 4K files.
I definitely always downgrade to like 1080p or 2.5K
to mess with it.
Yeah. But anyway, so back to how we ended up getting involved together. Never mind. But anyway,
back to the industry.
oh my god.
I have a camera.
But so I was just getting off that and really wanted to just keep the momentum, keep making stuff, and I'd seen her shit posting about the industry and stuff, and I was like, this seems weird. Like, whatever, I'll jump on, maybe shoot for a day.
That's what kind of sucked me in, was all your posts about this and this and this and this, and I'm like, oh shit.
And it was like intriguing. I was like, okay, let's
I didn't
like
cry on
see,
Facebook about
let's
it,
see
but
what the deal is here, and it was a weird first day,
Yeah.
and then like the second day
weird
was,
first day of filming.
Well, for me, because this was like
It
their
just came on in the middle of this project.
Right.
yeah, and I was like, I'll shoot second camera.
That's
like,
why I wanted to
whatever.
like see his
It was
like
all
what
these-
he walked into. You know,
It was a bunch of high schoolers, and it was like
And that motel that had like the roaches in it.
it was like a hostel.
I got like this chick I found somewhere, I don't remember, but she owned like this motel, and like we were gonna film like one of the boyfriend scenes. And actually we threw the DP in there that day because the guy that was supposed to play the boyfriend of this girl who's 15 went to like fucking Ocala or some shit. So I was like, okay, who's gonna take their shirt off and pretend to have just like you just had sex with this 15-year-old girl? Like, this is really weird. And then Zach's like, yo, I don't know you guys, like, what the fuck? And like then like my DP, who I swear to you has said like 3 words to me for like the whole year that he's shooting with me. Like, anything I told him to do, he's like, okay. Like, he's so good. He was like, all right, I'll do it. He just like slowly takes his shirt off, and he goes in there and like acts, and like then Zach is filming, and there's like this big like painting of like a cow, and like Zach teaches me about motifs and like how like
I taught her it as like a joke.
Like, I know, but
And then she like grabbed onto it and was like, oh, this is awesome.
because he was like, let's just get a shot of it. And I was like, why? And he was like, because it's a motif. And then like I was like, I don't know what that means.
I was completely joking that entire time, and she like latched onto it and was like, all right, cool.
And now it's a new transition in
And
my
now
film,
it's in
like,
your movie.
famous.
Whatever gets it done. Whatever gets it done.
And then we found, so then this is like jumping ahead to a year later when we were looking at like Airbnbs to shoot other scenes, and we found one that had that exact same painting in it.
We wanted to fade in.
Yeah, I was like, oh, dude, we could like transition.
it had the
from that
same
to
painting as
Yeah.
the motel.
the weird like cow painting.
That's so weird.
And,
like, that's fake.
They sold
Yeah,
more than
it's
one of
fake.
those?
I know, but and I was like, it was like a $300 rental, and I was like, oh, you
for
shouldn't
the
do
cow
it.
painting. I was like, dude, no.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is that'd be cool, but also I hadn't like seen most of the edit at this point. Most of this,
Yeah.
I'm jumping like I should probably be like linear. So I ended up coming like shooting second camera. The next day was the prom scene where all of the bang bang stuff happens.
Right.
And
Where'd you shoot that?
at
Nova. It was called
Yeah,
Nova 35 or
Nova.
something like that. It was
In downtown St.
downtown
Pete.
St.
Oh,
Pete.
okay.
It's a wedding venue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do
I
they have
actually,
locker rooms and showers?
maybe. And he actually gave it to me
Do
for
they really?
$400. It was actually it was gonna cost me $4,000 to rent that place, and I had $400 in my bank account, and I was like, all right, law of attraction, let's manifest this shit. So I just put it in an application. I was like, hey, I'm a filmmaker. I want to rent this for 2 days. And he goes, since you're a filmmaker, I'll give it to you for $400.
Nice.
Whoa.
So yeah, it was pretty cool. It was like the last $400 that I had in my bank account, but then proceeding over to
Yeah. And so that was the day when I realized, oh, this girl is like doing everything herself.
Right.
There's not like a producer involved. There's not like an AD. There's
yeah.
there's nothing. She was like freaking out, like all of the stuff, and I was just like, I didn't like know these guys well enough to step in and be
Step
like,
on their
hey,
toes,
like,
yeah.
what can I do to make sure you don't die? It was
And
crazy.
the sound guy had to leave that day because like his mom like had some chest pains or something, and so he just like leaves.
Jeez.
But like I got all upset because like he didn't tell me, so I didn't know. Like I thought he just walked out on me. So I'm like shit. So now we don't have a sound mixer. I've got like I don't know like 50 kids. And then we were trying to like order food, and I only had like $20 or something. And I'm like, can we get like a really big pizza? I don't know, but
Just one
that
really
was,
big.
like, that was like all right. We need to like figure something out because
Yeah.
we had 3 cameras running that day, and I think we had like a bunch of like lavs and like dude, I don't know, it's a blur. It took us, I think, like I averaged it out. It's like over a course of 2 days, it took us like 28 hours to film this like scene. And also I failed. There's another like big mistake I made to tell like half the parents that this was like a school shooting scene.
Right.
And I also didn't tell the owner that it was a school shooting.
So all these people were underage?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm just gonna throw myself out there, like.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I didn't think about it, and so we just
Right.
start like making this like really dark, gory scene, like blood all over this guy's like hardwood floor and like all this shit. And then like finally I was like, dude, I like never said anything to Michael. That's like the owner of the place, and he's just sitting over at the bar like watching us. And I was like, I'm so sorry. Like I have blood all over your floor.
Right.
Like I don't think I have insurance.
Yeah.
What kind of blood do you use?
It comes up.
It was like I don't know.
There was
like we
an
had a
effects
makeup
guy
artist made it.
Bleach.
Yeah.
And he was like, dude, just do your thing.
Yeah.
And he was
Yeah.
like, I
Bleach will
support artists.
Bleach gets it up.
And he was cool with it. And I was
Okay.
like, all
All
right.
right. Yeah.
Got
Yeah.
lucky.
A lot of it
Yeah.
came out really cool.
Yeah.
And that was some of the craziest 2 days was
Yeah.
that thing. And I think the second day it went a little bit smoother because I kind of knew you guys a little bit better and was able to sort of vibe. And we did this one composite shot to make everyone
Yeah.
where I was like there's a balcony up there, and I set the camera up there, and we just had everyone like go to different quadrants and dance and make it look like the room was
Bigger.
full,
Mhm.
and then composite that in. And I was just like
Right.
making them dance over the microphone and getting
Yeah.
more of that like good energy where when people feel like things are moving,
Mhm.
it's a psychological thing, but
Right.
it
was
helps.
good. It wasn't like
get that
bad energy. Like it was
Yeah.
like it was hard, but I had already shot that scene before,
Mhm.
and it was just way before Zach. Like I rented the Gulfport Casino, and we only had 4 hours to shoot this like whole scene that I had in mind. And actually, one of the parents is so funny. One of the stage moms that I like had originally worked with, her daughter was one of the leads. Got upset with me because her daughter didn't shoot as many kids as the main character did. And I was like, what the fuck kind of like edge type like shit is this? So I was like, that's really fucked up. And so she's like, you know what? I'm taking my daughter and we're leaving. And she leaves set, and then other people just start leaving. And I was like, dude, what? So, and actually, this is crazy. So this is my 4th day of filming this whole feature film. I hadn't had like really any experience before with really anything, and so I was so disorganized without an AD that I invite this makeup artist to set who scams me for like I don't know $600 because she like wanted to like she said that this latex was like worth $600 apparently. And I might have been, but like I'm like, dude, $600 for latex? Like that's crazy.
Yeah,
But
that seems a little
anyways,
extreme.
Yeah.
and so everybody comes out. I've got all these kids. I have them all wear dresses. Like we've got like I don't know. This shit looks like it's moving. And I'm like, where's the camera guy? And I'm like, wait, I never told him to shoot today. And
Oh,
so I got all these people out here.
And no camera
and
guy.
no camera guy. So like I'm up here like no shoes for some reason. I always take my shoes off when I like direct. I don't know why. And I get the mic.
Don't
and I'm
recommend
like,
that, by the way.
I'm like, yeah, people trip over it. I'm like, hello, I forgot to invite the camera guy, so y'all can just chill for a sec. And I don't remember
Wait,
what
so
I
you
did.
told everybody that?
I did, and I went home and I got my 4K GoPro, and I came back and I have one of my other actors who had like DP experience shoot it on a GoPro, and it was like literally this big, and I have like this whole ballroom, and then like that was that day that we had this like random guy come in that day and just walk into my set. Like we had like security people, like we rented it, that was our place, and he comes in and he was like, God has sent me to speak
Oh
to
my
you.
God.
And I was like, who the fuck are you? Like, he was like this old guy, this Russian guy, and he like kisses my hand. I'm like, bro, stop, don't touch me. And he was like in a tuxedo, and he was like, no, God wants me to be with you today. And I'm
What?
like, no, like, if God knew me, I do not want you here today. And he goes and sits at the piano and starts playing. And we're just, and I'm like, dude, you just came onto my movie set, and you're playing the piano. Who are you? And he sings the whole time, and I couldn't get him to leave because he was singing in a different language. And I said, no, it's like a true story. And so we just started filming this massacre scene with this random ass dude, like
Playing
just playing
piano the whole time.
And
It's
so,
kind of like the Titanic when it's
Yeah.
sinking
Yeah.
and they're still playing.
yeah, and like that's what someone even said, like, hey, this might be edgy in post or some shit,
Yeah.
you know. And
More
we
like
even had
Twin
like
Peaksy.
the main character stand up on the piano while he was playing it and just film that.
Dang, that's
and
amazing.
then he gives me a shirt with his face on it before he leaves, and I still have it like today. And I actually filmed a scene with me wearing it because I was like, who is this guy? But yeah, that was like really
I've had a lot
weird.
of weird shit on my sets. I don't think I've ever had anything that weird.
We filmed the whole thing. I looked at the footage and I saw it, and it looked really cool from the freaking like little monitor. I was able to get out one of my other friends who was like 16. His dad was like rich and a lawyer, and he bought his like Sony camera for him, and he also charged me like $400-$300 for like 2 hours. But it was cool. But it looked really cool on his little baby monitor. But when I put it up on my my computer, I see all these kids running, right? It looks so cool, and I'm like, yeah, look at that shit. And then I see parents in the background with their phones.
Oh,
And I'm like,
fuck.
no, like I can't just get that shit out.
Yeah, you don't let
So,
people on set.
I mean, they were in the background.
Nobody's
like,
allowed on set. That's not
so
supposed to be there.
I'm like, okay. I actually put the film away for like almost like a year, and I was like, not gonna touch it. And then I was just like, I'm gonna give up and just like, I don't know, just keep being a barista or whatever. But then like people kept asking, they're like, you can't just like throw this out. Now you look even worse because I had such a bad
Yeah.
rap already, and I'm like, now I look even worse because I just threw the film away. So I had to do it again, and we shot like a year later. We filmed at Nova, and I mean, like as hard as it was, it worked to some extent. Like we have a scene.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the story with that, and then Zach just became my AD from there. So
Yeah. And like a whole bunch of other stuff, apparently.
my producer,
That's what
like,
happens.
no, he's like literally been like my rock the whole time. He's like, he's like, we got like a good relationship going and all that.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Completely platonic, but
Yeah, yeah.
no, we're good friends.
That's how me and
so,
Sean are.
yeah.
You know, when I first made made my first movie, I was just like you. I was going to do everything myself. I didn't know any better. And
I still
you know,
do everything myself.
I had read books and watched behind the scenes
Mhm.
and shit how to make a movie and Robert Rodriguez's 10-minute film school and all that shit. So I felt like I could do it.
Mhm.
And so I put a casting call up, and I had a conference room at my dad's office, and people would come in and audition. And this guy messaged me, and he was like, hey, you know, I graduated film school and I'm looking for something to do. I was working at Busch Gardens, Hallow Scream, and I'm laid off, so I got unemployment. I have time to do stuff. So I said, well, come down to the casting call, you know, and we'll hang out and whatever. And so he came, and like we just hit it off. Like we're both horror movie freaks, and you know, both love making movies, and we've been doing stuff since. You know, he became the camera guy, and I was able to just direct and do everything. And then we kept, like, through the years, we would always have people that we would meet and have them come on set and help, and we didn't pay anybody. Like, nobody got paid.
Tell me about it.
Housewife Slasher, I had 41 actors, 19 locations,
Oh my
and
God.
nobody got paid. The only people that got paid were the FX people and food. I mean, that was really where all the money went. And everybody just loved doing it. Like, it was fun, and it's different now. I'm finding that the younger people now feel entitled that, you know, I'm doing a casting now for a movie, and I had someone literally rip me apart because of how much I was going to pay him. He was in like 2 scenes in the movie and got all upset about me. I'm thinking to myself, I looked at his IMDb credits. He was party goer at some movie that never even fucking came out, right? And I'm like, oh, I didn't know I was talking to Tom Cruise. Like,
I have demands.
So he wrote me this long email about how he's insulted and well, I'd rather do it for nothing than this and blah blah blah. And so I just I had this long email I was gonna send him back, and I said, you know what? I deleted it and I said, I'll just go ahead and cast someone else. That was it.
There you go.
It's very mature.
And then I casted the second person I had on the list, and he was grateful and like, oh my god, I'm so happy and blah blah blah. You know, and it's funny how different people react to different things. And this guy had been in a bunch of stuff, you know, and I wasn't paying him much, but he was just happy to have a role. I mean, there's nothing going on now, and
yeah, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, where like if there's a project, try to get as into the project as no matter what it is. If I'm holding a boom mic, if I'm holding a light, like I'm doing it. Like I don't give a damn. I just like being involved in projects. I just love the industry. Like I've always
told actors, look, if you are serious about being an actor, do whatever you got to do, even if you're getting paid or not getting paid. Be in the movie. Get as many roles as you possibly can to 1, gain experience, 2, know what it's like to be on set. I mean, everybody's set is different, and you know, and just to build your credits, get real footage. You know, that stuff's all important when you're trying to get bigger stuff. You know.
Yeah, I think my IMDb page is full of just random credits of like just random projects. Like, hey, I need a boom operator. Like, okay, I'll do it. Like, I just do it.
I mean, I had 2 girls I offered a lead role to, and there was nudity. And whenever there's nudity in the movie, I always put a questionnaire out.
Yeah.
I put it out, you know, have you acted before? What city you live in? Some roles require nudity. Are you comfortable with this?
Yeah.
And they both wrote yes. So I casted both of them. Well, I casted the one, and she tells me that her agent said she can't be in the movie. And I'm like, what? And I'm thinking to myself, is your agent getting you like any roles? Because I guarantee he's not. And now you just turned down a lead role in a movie. And again, I don't care if the movie is a $2,000 budget or a $2 million budget. Like, why would you turn down a lead role in a movie and you're comfortable with the content and your agent's telling you no? Like, what kind of fucking agent is that? You know, it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. So I offered it to another girl. She accepted the role. And then 2 days later, she messages me, yeah, I talked to my agent. I should have cleared it before.
This is weird.
And he told me not to be in the movie. And I'm like, what is happening? Like, am I in the Twilight Zone? So I had 2 girls turn the lead role down because their agent said no. And if you go back, I mean, there's so many big name actors that started in low budget horror movies. I mean, George Clooney, Tom Hanks, Jennifer Aniston, like all of them were in.
I didn't know that.
Some still work in indie stuff.
George Clooney was in Return to Horror High, which I mean probably had like $100,000 budget.
Matthew McConaughey was in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Jennifer Aniston was in Leprechaun.
Yep.
The first Leprechaun.
Johnny Depp was in Nightmare on Elm Street. The first one was the budget was terrible.
Right. I mean, it's crazy how many people started from like super low budget horror movies and made it.
Yeah.
Well, it is weird now too with things being so much more accessible. Like you can, using the Blackmagic Pocket, you can shoot a movie that looks
it looks amazing. Yeah.
It looks like it was shot on a camera that costs 10 times as much.
Right.
And there's all the red fanatics that are well, you can only shoot on red because that's the thing. And then seeing them kind of slowly realize, oh, this camera is a quarter of the size.
One red memory card costs as much as the pocket cinema camera.
Right.
I think lighting is more important than the camera you're shooting on. Like, you know, if your lighting sucks, it's going to look like shit. I don't care what camera you're shooting on.
I love when people will put all this money into, we're going to have an 8K red, whatever on set, and then you're like, oh, here's white walls and plastic cups.
Right. No set design. No blank walls.
Okay, so that's... Okay, I mean, your frame doesn't matter if what's in front of it is shit.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, white walls look the same whether you're in 720 or 12K.
Yep.
Yeah.
We shot a movie called Die Die Delta Pi back in 2012.
Love these titles.
And title and poster sells. It does.
Yeah.
And we had a guy that we brought on. We actually interviewed a bunch of people to be our editor because I hated editing. Like I didn't want to edit.
That's the worst part of every.
And so we hired this guy to be our editor, and he was like, I've worked on a bunch of stuff before, and I know how to like do lighting.
Yeah.
And he was like, and I know somebody that has a bunch of lights. I'm like, awesome. So we didn't pay him shit, and he was there doing all our lighting. And we shot that movie on a T3i, but it looks good. Like the lighting was
You got a gap
awesome.
for free?
The
Yeah.
item was
Nice.
the lighting was awesome in that
Wow.
movie. It took forever to set up,
Yeah.
and people were getting pissed because they're standing around for an hour while Larry's setting the lights up. But it was totally worth it. Like the lighting was amazing
lighting
in
is
that movie.
key in everything.
Mhm.
And
Everything.
but yeah, that movie was something else. That's a movie. We had a location for 2 days. We had to shoot 40 pages in 2 days.
Oh,
And we had
Oh my
like
God.
we got to set, and this is with like someone doing lighting, like real lighting.
oh my
And
God.
so we got there on Sunday morning at 10 a.m. We had ABC News was coming out to do a story on us at 10 in the morning. So we got there at 10. We're setting everything up. They're interviewing us. And then we start shooting. We shot all the way until the sun came up the next morning.
Yeah, we've done
It
that
was
before.
crazy.
Yeah,
And then I had to work
It's
the next
miserable.
day,
Ugh.
and
Oh, yeah.
I hadn't slept in like 2 days because this was a Saturday, Sunday shoot. I was so tired, and I was a meat cutter at a grocery store, and I'm like going in and out of consciousness while I'm working on
Yeah.
saws and knives
Oh my
and stuff.
God.
Oh shit.
And
yeah.
it was pretty scary. So I went home and crashed for like 2 days.
Yeah, man. Our last day we wrapped at like 5:30 in the morning, and I had to clock in at work at 6.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
that sucks.
I did that on a couple TV shows that I did. I did this one TV show. We wrapped at 4 a.m. We had a call at 6 a.m. So
Oh.
basically, I took a nap and then literally out of clothes,
Crazy.
and then I just directed the next day.
We had a girl that lived in Tallahassee. They were twins, and they lived in Tallahassee, and they came to shoot. And like I said, it was like 6 in the morning, and she had to be in Tallahassee to take the bar exam at 10 a.m. So she leaves our set after being up all freaking night, drives to Tallahassee, goes right to the damn testing center to take the bar exam. Luckily, she passed.
I was gonna
But
say.
I was like that's dedication.
Yeah.
And she didn't get paid anything. Like that's the thing is like it was different. Not even 6-7 years ago was so different than it was now. Like back then you could get people to just come out and for nothing just because they wanted to be a part of it and had a passion for it.
It's a great experience.
I get it. It's like you're trying to make it your career. It's you can only do the free stuff for so long before it.
And that's understood.
Yeah.
If you got this huge resume and I'm like, all right, this guy's pretty good.
Yeah.
But most of the actors we work with are shitty.
Gotta
I mean,
start somewhere.
Hey, thank you.
they're just starting out.
Right,
You're a
right.
shitty actor, Tony.
I don't care.
So, and I feel like I'm not getting paid to direct and shoot this thing, and nobody else is getting paid. Like, why should we pay this guy?
Right.
When I got 10 other actors that are dying for this role, that'll do it for nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what happens when you got $2,000 as your budget or $3,000 as your budget.
Yeah.
Now we pay people, not much, but we pay people to be in the movies. And because if we didn't, we could literally probably make a movie for like $20.
Right.
But now it's like, we spend probably $1,000 on cast, and it's
good.
what it is.
You got to start somewhere. You got like when you during your first feature. You learn all these bumps and bruises. Now you have an idea of what to expect and how to program it, how to just approach it. Just
Triggered was Mace Walker's film school.
Yo, my God.
I always tell
I
people.
failed it so many times.
I always tell people your first movie is gonna suck. And again, I haven't
Yeah.
seen your movie. I don't know anything about it, but your first movie is gonna suck.
Yeah.
But if you learn from it, all of your mistakes and not make them again,
Right.
you'll get way better.
You can see, like, the movie's kind of weird because, like, you can see, like, when I was less experienced. in
Right.
certain
To when
Oh,
you
yeah.
were more experienced.
But, like, it's all out of order. So it's, like, it kind of, like,
Good
the
scene, bad
quality
scene. Yeah,
changes
yeah, yeah.
a little
Sure.
bit. But I try my best to like keep it consistent with the tone and
Right.
everything. So
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
said, my first movie was awful.
yeah,
And then my second movie was like, oh my God, like this guy just went from here to like here.
exactly. Like
And I had a DP that knew what he was doing. And I literally was over that guy's shoulder constantly.
yeah, you need a DP
learning-
that's experienced.
learning
for
from
Oh, yeah.
sure.
Oh yeah.
And then that got me into shooting. I kind of got forced into shooting because my third movie, he was going to DP it again, and he got called to Fashion Week. So he went,
Yeah.
you know, I'm like, dude, you're getting paid a lot of money. Just go.
Yeah.
Do
I
it.
said, show me like the settings on the camera and I'll shoot it. I've seen this guy enough to where I felt like I could do it,
Yeah.
and did. I mean,
You
I
finished
shot
the
it myself.
film, like during
and
COVID too, so it was just like,
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
crazy.
So
She
hard.
rented a school bus. We filmed on a school bus with like
Yeah.
40 kids.
all right,
Wow.
Zach,
Bus driving.
let's not have.
Hey, like I said, we
health
shot
department
2
come out.
movies
Well,
during
no, we
COVID.
still
and-
followed COVID protocol.
We did follow. We tried, but I ordered a school bus to my house, and this is weird, but you can do that.
Yeah.
And like I like
You can do a lot of things.
And I didn't know that it came with a bus driver, and it was super low key. Like I just walked out of my house, and there was a bunch of kids on it, and I was like, cool.
That's cool.
And like I had the $300.
You rented like with the kids?
Oh, it came with the kids. Yeah, it's
What?
really cool.
Wait, I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can in some weird countries, but I don't know.
I also
The
got,
guy that's
I got
randomly
the
picks up
kids
kids.
from kids casting as well, but I didn't charge them this time.
Get on the bus,
But,
kids.
And actually, like afterwards, like one of them got like really like car sick, and then like we were filming outside and on someone's like properties. I
Far
really
from
like
him.
this building, and she like started like yelling at us outside the window, and like she thought we were like the BLM like protest group.
Oh my
and,
God.
and she was like, "I bought you water, and you don't need to be destroying my property." And we were like, "We're just taking pictures, like haha." And then like the girl like throws up in the yard,
Oh,
and
it's biodegradable.
it was, like, lots of stuff just happened. But yeah, it was cool because like I didn't know I could just get a school bus, especially during COVID, because I was like,
Yeah, that's
what
crazy.
am I gonna do with this? Like, I don't want to green screen it, and like the whole school like was shot in like so many different locations. Like
Yeah.
obviously, like you can tell that we didn't have real school.
Yeah,
We had,
school's
like, office
impossible to
buildings and
get.
stuff. Oh my god, like nobody wanted my content. Like
It's
some,
impossible.
like I even got such rude responses. Like I would email like high school teachers, be like, "Hey, I'm doing a school shooting film. Can I come?" Like, and
Right.
they,
Great
like,
opener.
I
Yeah.
know, but I mean,
It's funny because I've
They'd
been
be
trying
like,
to find this locker room with showers for. It's supposed to be a high school locker room, and everywhere I go, I'm like, yeah, it's this movie called Cheerleader Dreams, and it's about this cheerleader that's
oh my
trying to
God,
make the
it's like,
team,
Trying to explain it. It's
and
like,
and all this shit,
yeah.
and just to like ease them up, because if you say, oh yeah, we're filming the cheerleader sleepover slaughter, they're gonna be like, yeah, no. Because I've noticed over the years, if you say it's a horror movie, it turns them right off.
Yep.
Why is
And
that?
I don't know. It's
It's
just
creepy,
people are
loud
weird.
Well,
noises.
there
People
is
think-
kind of a negative connotation.
Yeah.
With
people don't want
A lot
naked
of-
girls and gore all over their locker room.
Yeah.
So, I came up with this
I was like
pseudo plot and name. It's about a girl that's trying to make the cheerleader team, and the girls are mean to her, but she perseveres at the end.
Sugarcoating
She
it.
does. She fucking kills everybody. That's how she perseveres.
Yeah.
But
Jeez. you could
yeah,
be a
it's-
PR guy.
right. Well, I've been pretty lucky with locations over here. My dad's a realtor, and he knows like everybody in town. So he's like my first call. Hey, Dad, I need a church, or I need a school locker room. Like this is really the only one he hasn't been able to get. But he got us the pawn shop. He got us all these different locations over there, restaurants, everything.
Cool.
So it's cool to have him
Yeah.
as my location scout.
There was one point when I remember Mace would just like call me up and be like, "Hey, would it be super crazy if I just like bought a bunch of old lockers
Oh, yeah.
and put them in some hallway?" And then we
Right.
just did that, and I'm like, for like 5 shots.
Yeah, I
Maybe
almost
a little.
bought like $500 like old like lockers. I was just gonna throw them in my hallway and be like, "Hey, let's just throw some kids like
Right.
in front of those." And he's like, "Then when are you gonna do it though?" So I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't
It's
If you
like
give them
getting
to
them
me,
there.
and we'll make the locker room.
That's what I'm saying. You could- like I have a whole warehouse.
a whole warehouse.
know.
We were
So
talking about
how
that.
much did you total spend on this movie? Totally.
I don't have an exact number, but I would say somewhere between 15 through 20K. Because I worked at Panera Bread for over a year. It was my Panera-versary 2 months ago,
Anniversary.
Panera versus.
and
Probably
it's,
sounds fun.
It sucks.
Yeah.
But sorry, Panera, but y'all suck ass.
I can
But-
edit that out.
I mean,
Most
I can
companies
bleep
do.
it.
oh my god! But like, yeah, I didn't really keep any of my paychecks. Like,
So
just,
all your money
like,
went to this movie.
it all went into the movie, and like Zach was like super like just lenient with me. Like he let me like put all my money into other stuff. Like
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
still
'cause
owe
I
him
saw-
so much money right now.
I
but,
saw like what
yeah.
she was going for, and then after like we worked on a couple shorts together between like the 2019 shooting of Triggered and then the 2020 bit, and then we ended up being better friends, and we like ended up spending a night just editing. What was it? That short film we did, Lunchbox together.
Lunchbox was like your bonding time, man.
And then we
ordered
were
pizza, and I
yeah.
didn't tip the guy, and he taught me how to tip the pizza delivery. Like Zach's kind of like my like guardian angel.
It's crazy, but it was then when I realized, okay, we can spend 20 hours editing together and like not hate each
And
other.
be cool about it. Yeah.
So then after that, a little bit later, she was like, "Hey, you want to come and just see the rough cut of Triggered and like talk over what her plans are?" And then I saw like this whole like snippy bit of it
on my laptop. I played it at the render, like it wasn't even rendered. I just played it from the timeline.
Yeah, so it was all like kind of just disconjointed, and it was enough to be like, okay, I see that she has a vision for this, and she's like willing to do whatever to make it happen, and
that's contagious.
Yeah,
when you see someone busting their ass, it makes you want to bust your ass.
Right, and then like knowing
what
what she'd gone through and how people, because initially I was like, okay, cool, like a quick paycheck, whatever,
right,
like shoot for a couple of days, and then I saw like this mountain that she was
trying to get
pushing everything up herself.
Oh yeah,
like fucking Atlas holding the sky.
Right.
And I was just like, okay, what can I do? How can we like make this cool? And it's weird, it's crazy, it's sort of like all over the place, but I feel like it is after seeing on Tuesday when we saw it at the at Tampa Theater, then to see and get like a better glimpse of, okay, yeah, I can see what you're trying to do here, and now we have the fun 2 months of like cleaning everything and really like tightening stuff up. But to be able to trust someone like that and be like, yeah, I see what you're doing, I'm totally on board.
Right.
And knowing that people kept trying to like shift it and be like, oh, it should be more about autism or more about like this and this. Oh, I think if my son does this, then the movie will do better. And it's like, no.
Yeah, that sucks dealing with parents. And I've dealt with people in the past that were actors, and they're like, hey, maybe we should try it this way. I'm like, you act, and we will make the movie. Like, I don't need your input. You know, and if I need somebody's input, I'll ask them. You know, and that's usually, I'm either going to ask Sean or Jason, hey, what do you think about this or whatever. I'm not going to ask my actor, you know, how I feel like we should shoot this scene. You know what I mean?
Everyone just got so excited about it, and they all had like these different interpretations.
Of course.
Nobody really liked my ending because it was just kind of like, not a cliffhanger, but there's nothing like, it's not like you're like, wow, that was like the ending. It's just like, just the ending that I wanted it to be. But like, there was like a battle. Like, I almost changed the name of the film too, just because like it was so controversial just locally. But then I was like, this is just locally. Like, this is literally.
That's
just
what's gonna get you a name though.
Like,
controversy sells.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I was like kind of like thinking like my IMDb page is like completely sabotaged, so none of that like, makes any sense. I'm not like credited as the director. One of my crew members did that.
Yeah,
like
it's crazy. We can't even like
we can't even
change anything on it.
And like the other day someone
weird.
just
on your own page.
Well, IMDb thinks that the movie was released in 2019. So it's
old posters. One of the stage moms credited herself as the AD
and the executive producer.
Like the day after my screening, some troll like somehow got into my screening and left me like the longest just terrible essay. Like
I read it last night.
I told her it was awesome. I was like, this is great. This is a big
and
deal.
I was like,
here's the thing, like if you read those comments on your movies and take it to heart, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Like I see these things, I laugh now at them. I think they're kind of funny. Like I made a movie called Crazy Lake, and one of the comments is, and the Oscar goes to not this movie, you know, and like, oh, it's a Mountain Dew commercial and all this shit, you know, hot girls and guys with no clothes on the whole movie and all this shit. And it's just like, it makes me laugh now because I'm like, this guy doesn't know what goes into making a movie. So who the fuck is he to say anything about my movie? You know what I mean?
Everyone thinks they can do it better.
Because like we said before, making a movie's hard.
Yeah.
Like if it was easy, there would be millions of people doing it. But it's nobody. You got to have a lot of will to make a movie.
Focus.
Like, it's so hard.
A lot of focus, a lot of directorial,
a lot of time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like you just got to have like the stars have to align to make a movie because it's so hard.
It's just risky, like with this content, especially like just how it's gonna be perceived.
But that's what's
and all
cool.
that.
But risk is good.
You made the movie that you wanted to make, though. Like
Yeah.
you didn't let people change your vision, and that's to be commended, especially
Yeah.
from a young person.
And
you know,
she was able to learn along the way. Like even when I first started working with her, seeing her like willingness to try
learn
different
and
things,
be
to
better. Yeah,
learn.
of course.
Yeah, and then
That's what it's about.
to given the nature of how weird this one is, and part of what like made me want to come in and like see some of the process was, yeah, you have a high schooler that's trying to make a movie about school shootings as her first feature film,
Right.
and to have something of that content be made by the people that it most affects, essentially. That's a story that I kind of want to see, you know?
Of course.
Yeah, it's just all about like learning where to like draw the line, especially like I didn't want it to be like the school shooting movie because it just changed so much. And like I mean, it could even be just metaphorical, like just how we're so like quick to shoot each other down, just in life and in high school, and just I just wanted to kind of show like a more like dark twisted version of the female experience. I think as a teenager, and I think it definitely is more, I guess, targeted towards young women because it just kind of shows how we can just crumble from the inside. We just insult ourselves and we just tell ourselves that we're shit. And it's just like, just kind of a battle with Christy and herself. And then there is a character who's on the spectrum in there as well. And then there's another character who is actually in real life my best friend who struggled with depression. So I actually like based the character off of her. And so she like there's like a self-harm scene and she experienced self-harm and she said that in another interview, like she's open about it, and she like went through that and like had to be hospitalized. And it's like this stuff is like real stuff, like it's just a lot of people were real emotional, like especially like it was almost like a compliment to me because like my lead and I Kaden, she was so like I purposely didn't talk to her for like most of the time because I was like just trying to isolate myself from her because it was like me and the rest of the crew were kind of like buddy, and then her and her mom were just kind of by themselves, and it was almost like I was kind of doing it on purpose because she kind of would get ticked at me and be like, you know, I don't think Mace likes me or like all this shit. But then like she got so agitated, she got insecure about herself,
came out in her performance,
and you could just see it. And actually, 40% of like the film, like a lot of it is just like candid, like just her like the narration and stuff, just looking around, and you can even see like in her eyes like how she feels. And like I feel like there's just so much like raw emotion and just like just the gestures and the body language. Like I have a few scenes that I cut that the actors were like, I don't remember filming that because like we just had it rolling, and like she just like fascinated me as a person anyways, not to sound creepy. But like nobody, like I even tell her, I'm like, if I had like the opportunity to recast any A-lister, I would not take it because nobody could play this character like Kaden can, because I didn't even have to direct her like towards the end. She just knew like every like movement, just how she would deliver her lines.
You were on the same page. Weird,
and seeing her at the screening, it was like the first time I had talked to her like actually as a person, and like I just kept almost wanting to call her Christy, and it was weird because I'm like looking at this thing that this person I created that I've only watched through a screen. And it's just like she creeps me out. She gives me nightmares. And it's like I see this girl and like she was like giving me a hug and she's like, this is so weird. I'm like, fuck yeah, this is weird. Like it's just like she's like a figment of my imagination. But then like in real life, she's like an influencer.
She brought it to life.
She's like this other artist who has her own thing going on.
And that's what's cool about movies, is bringing your imagination to life, and you get to see it play out. It's really cool.
It's strange, you know.
I always said that's my favorite part of making a movie. Back when it was like affordable to rent a theater, was just sitting in the theater with everybody, because you know, editing movie, you've seen it a gazillion times, and you get to a point where you're just like, I have no idea if this movie's good or not. Like I have no clue.
Yeah, no,
and because you've seen it so much, and you just, it skews your vision. Like you don't know if it's good or not. So just sitting in a theater with your cast and crew and friends and watching it and just seeing everybody's reactions, like, did he laugh when he was supposed to laugh, or did they groan when they're supposed to groan? You know, did they jump when they're supposed to jump? Is really satisfying. Like that was my favorite part of the whole process was sitting there for the first time in the theater watching everybody watch it.
Manipulate your audience.
Yeah, it's just it's really cool and it's a lot of fun. Unfortunately, you know, you can't get a theater for cheap now.
Yeah.
We used to be able to rent the Movie Co. in Ybor for $300 on a Saturday night at like 8 o'clock. It was crazy. I mean, I had film festivals that I made I did 2 film festivals, the Innovative Film Festival and Florida Horror Film Festival. I did those for 5 years, and it was just awesome because you can rent this theater for $300. It was crazy, and you can run your whole film festival there the whole day. Yeah. And yeah, you were able to make some pretty decent money doing that. But now it's like AMC pretty much runs everything, and they're outrageous.
It's hard for indie people, especially like there's not a lot of us here in Tampa or St. Pete, anything like that.
Actually, this area used to thrive, and everybody moved to Atlanta and LA. And like my whole cast from Crazy Lake is gone. Like they all moved. The lead was in the Camila Cabello Havana Na video.
Oh, cool.
He's right at the beginning. There's like a Spanish soap opera thing going on. He's like the lead in that. Oh, nice. And then one of the girls from that movie is one of the leads in P Valley on Stars. Okay. It's a show about a strip club in Mississippi, I think, or Louisiana. And she's one of the leads in that. So a lot of people just moved and they're doing stuff, you know, which is awesome. I love seeing that someone I worked with. I'm like, oh,
yeah, it's awesome.
You know,
it's one of the best
seeing them on like a real thing.
Yeah,
so that's cool.
I haven't experienced that yet.
No
one that I really.
Someday.
Well, no, actually, one of my friends actually was a co-host of mine from the TV show. He was in a movie with Daniel Radcliffe. I think that was
cool.
So
that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest of my co-stars or persons that I've worked with. I think that was the biggest that I've seen.
Did you see the new Vacation
Mm-hmm.
with Christina Applegate? And I mean, it came out 4 years ago.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Anyway, that was a big movie, and one of our girls was in that. Her IMDb credit name is Boobs.
Oh, nice.
Because Christina Applegate, she goes to her sorority house and she walks up, she's like, "Boobs, give me a beer." So her IMDb credit name
Something
is
nice
Boobs.
to cross off the bucket
Hilarious.
list.
Oh yeah. I want to be named Boobs.
Yeah.
So what are your plans with the movie now? I know it's really long, right?
Yeah.
It's like 2.5 hours. Or?
Right now it's 2 hours and 34 minutes, which I hear is as long as Pulp Fiction is.
Yeah. Are you gonna cut that back? Is that a plan, or?
You know what? It's me and Zach were looking at it, and like we're like, you know, this is just gonna be long. It just has to be.
Mm-hmm.
And
why don't you do volumes?
The what?
Like volumes.
Like volumes. Oh yeah. Well, I did chapters, like, and the reviewer had an issue with that. And he's like, "There's no real reason why I should have chapters." I was like, "There's no real reason why I should make."
They did chapters in Justice League. Well, they had to. That was 4 hours long.
One of the reasons I did it was because I had these kids for 3-4 years. Like I grew up with these kids.
Right.
Like, you know, like we all got older, puberty, and holy shit. But you know, like they couldn't cut their hair for certain like agents and stuff, all that bullshit. But my overall goal, like with this film, like I don't like straight want to just go into distribution. I don't feel like this is that type of film, and like Zach's gonna laugh at me, but this is not a film. This is like an experience to me. Like this is just like I want the audience to just see like this is just a piece of work, like an artwork.
Yeah.
And it's like it's just not. It doesn't follow the rules. You know, it's not really cinematic. It breaks the fourth wall and the 180 rule and all that stuff. Like we do all these things that
doesn't
like,
really break the fourth wall.
Well, there's just a lot of shit it breaks, man. Like it's just not right. But
who the hell wants to follow rules?
Yeah.
I think that like
rules are made to be broken.
It expresses me, and I really want to just try for Sundance. I know y'all probably see me, you see me on Facebook posting like I'm going to submit to Sundance, and I've got all these people telling me that I'm going to be disappointed, but I'm like, bro, I'm going to be 100% disappointed if I don't.
Are you going to go through the festival route?
Yeah, I want to.
Because I'll give you advice on that.
I would love that. I just want to go through all that, see if I can get discovered, quote unquote, or like someone will like my work, want to like collab with me, or get some investors, just something like that, you know. So I think I have something like unique going for me. I don't think I'm like a master at film yet, but
Of course not.
um,
But you
I
have
think I'm going somewhere.
many years ahead of you.
Yeah.
Like
Oh yeah.
I started when I was 40, so my time is, scrunched down. Like you're at a perfect time because anybody can make anything. Like the new iPhone is so crazy. Like you can literally shoot a movie on that.
Like attach lenses.
Like it's
too.
crazy. So everybody has a 4K camera in their pocket,
Right.
and you can make something. I mean,
Yeah.
when people see that, they're kind of like, oh, it's not a real movie. But Steven Soderbergh just made 2 movies with an iPhone.
Yeah.
I know the
so
production
it's
timeline
happening.
with that is not ideal.
Right, it's happening.
But,
But
yeah.
just to say that anybody can do it.
Yeah.
And it's a great time for a young person that's interested in film to try and make it.
And also the Sundance and festivals. Like, how many movies have we recommended in one of our shows that we do? Is 10 movies
yeah,
you
we
have
do
never
10
seen.
movies you never heard of, and
We're doing volume 2 next week, but a lot of the movies that we recommend are from
come
these
from
festivals.
Sundance, IFC, stuff like that.
So we push out those messages.
I mean, are you up against it? Yeah. I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of movies that get submitted to Sundance.
Less than like the 1%.
Right. But
Mm.
like I said before, you have an advantage because of your story. I can guarantee there's not many 18-year-old directors that submitted their movie to Sundance.
Right.
They're mostly, probably in their late 20s, early 30s, trying to get some stuff out there. But your story is so unique that, again, that's why I wanted to have you on, because you're so intriguing to me, because I know what it takes to make a movie. And I remember my first time doing it, not knowing anything, never went to film school or anything, and all the challenges that I had, and I see your posts of all your challenges, and I'm just like, fuck, man, just keep going, just keep going.
Yeah.
And I didn't know you from Adam, and I'm just like rooting for you to
gotta
make
keep pushing through. Gotta keep pushing through.
And
those first bumps and bruises, they're scarring, but you feel those for your entire career.
Right.
You're like, I'm not doing that shit again.
Yeah.
so just learn from your mistakes, get a thick skin,
Yeah.
and
You're gonna get a lot
don't
of
let
rejection.
anybody tell you what to do, and don't let anybody tell you you can't,
Sure.
because you just showed everybody that you can.
Yeah.
And it's very intriguing and inspiring
Thank
to
you.
see someone like yourself do what you did and not give up. I mean, you could have gave up probably a million times throughout the process, I'm sure.
I could have gotten done a lot faster if I hadn't given up. And like, if COVID hadn't hit, I don't even know if I would have finished the film, because it was just like I got let go from my job for a bit, and I was just sitting in my room, and I just like remember like it was like 3 a.m, and I was just staring at the drawer that had like triggered in it, like on the 2 like hard drives, because it couldn't fit on one, and like they were all dusty, and I hadn't even looked at the footage, and I had it for 6 months, and I just like took it out, plugged it into my laptop. I was like, all right, here we go.
Started
like,
messing with it, yeah.
And I just started editing it, and then it went to a different computer, and then it went to a different computer, and then I was sharing a computer with my mom while she was working from home, and she was like, what's this plugged in here, and like yanking shit out, and it was just like crazy hard to manage. And since Zach lives in Largo and I live in St. Pete, and I don't have a car. I do have a car. I'm getting it this Friday to drive it home. But I haven't had a car this whole time, so like I couldn't come see him. And like when I would bring my film down there, the shit would just like all scatter. Like you had to relink everything, and things were named the same thing because I had so much stuff.
That happened on my first movie. We were shooting with 2 cameras, the same camera, and all the files were the same. And we were trying to figure out how to import them. I mean, again, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. So we imported them, and all the files were named the same. And we literally lost half of our footage from that file thing. We clicked the wrong choice and I deleted all these and kept all these. I'm like,
I log everything before I even open Premiere, and then put that all into like its own stuff.
It's so much.
Yeah, that's what I do. I'll go scene number folders.
Oh
yeah.
Every scene number has a different folder.
And then once you do, because Premiere uses so much processing power that if you do it outside of Premiere, you're able to do it a good bit quicker and not have to worry about crashes as much.
Right.
And then you already have all
the Adobe
folders
crashes.
Yeah, that's why I got rid of Adobe. I hate Adobe. I do DaVinci now.
Adobe sucks, man.
I hate it. But it's like
Yeah.
the standard. Like, what are you
Yeah.
gonna do? I know a lot of people are going to DaVinci.
Yes, we are.
They're just so much faster.
Come
in
to
Premiere.
DaVinci.
So
Yeah.
I haven't made that switch.
That's
yet.
the thing is like I
It's
know
like I'll
Premiere,
open it
so I gotta
and then
learn a
I'll-
whole new software again. It's like,
I mean, but you can change it. It's because if you in the beginning when you upload DaVinci, it actually says what programs have you had experience with, and it can manipulate and mold to a similar fashion of
Really?
the
That's
yeah.
cool.
So when you first load it up, you like I'm used to Adobe Premiere, so it'll it'll configure it to a way where you can be somewhat more
Right.
familiar with it or learn it a lot quicker because they'll try to put a little like profile
like the
over.
grading, like color grading is so much better with DaVinci too.
Well,
right?
well,
Like,
Blackmagic.
watching
what
that.
they
That's
what they
they're
were
known
for, really.
And
like
now,
Blackmagic.
they're not only doing color grading, but they also bought the I think I forgot what it was called the sound
Fairlight?
studio. Yes,
Yeah.
the sound studio. Now their sound is starting to get
Really.
ridiculous. So basically, they're not only the best in color grading, they're going to be the best in sound. They're not there yet, but they will be.
Yeah.
And that's why I recommend DaVinci going on. I don't do DaVinci for like YouTube or anything like that. I do that for my big projects, but for this, for YouTube and all that, I do a smaller project because it's a smaller program because it's quick and easy and But with DaVinci, if you learn that and get great at that, I think it's the next program where it's going to be the regular. It's going to be because it's got so many capabilities. It has everything that Adobe can do, and even better. It even has After Effects into it. It's just not there yet, but it will be.
Right.
And it's like I said, if you learn it at this level, by the time they release, get bigger with the DaVinci After Effects, I forgot what they call it, but it's going to be even on above Adobe Premiere.
And what I love about that too is we've already seen that Blackmagic as a company is a disruptor in the industry.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
I mean, look at those big pill cameras from 8 years ago and what they've got now.
Yep.
Right.
It's insane. And people were complaining about those cameras and like, oh, it's so
And they're cheap.
janky. But now you see the progression there, and the CEO is like a technical engineer.
Oh,
So
yeah.
he comes from that background, and it's cool to see what they're doing with
and
all
they're
that
making it
tech.
affordable for
And they're
us.
cheap.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like-
like I said, I just
yeah.
bought it for $1,050.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it didn't have lenses or attachments or anything, but still, I mean, I had the brain of the camera for $1,050.
This right here can do what those big
Mhm.
production studios can do with insane production. Like this little thing controls 4 cameras. It can do just line them up in
Wow.
sequence. It literally that's what this does. $300.
Yeah.
$300 for this. Like that's why Blackmagic is like second to none
Mhm.
in quality
They're badass.
for productions in industry for us, like for the little guys. Like it gives us the same quality that we can as if we had those $1 million sets.
Sure.
And I think that's why they're second to none in pretty much in our industry.
Yeah.
Because it gives us the opportunities in real time in our hands, the quality that we can put out.
Yeah.
Still waiting for Netflix to put them on that approved camera list.
Yeah, I know, right?
The 4.6 is the 4.
Oh.
The 4.
Okay.
The 4.6 Ursa. That's the only one that they have approved on. It's on that list so far.
I think it's because it has built-in IR.
Wait, so they
filters.
won't take those like films unless they're like shot?
Yeah, they have,
specific
they have a
cameras.
camera list.
Well, it's the time code. It's because there's no time. That's the exact reason why the Pocket 4K and the Pocket 6K are not on that list. But now the 6K is actually coming with the time code encoder.
The 6K Pro?
Yes.
Or-
No.
Okay.
No. They have actually any of them. It's just an external thing that goes into the mic. So basically, it plugs
Okay.
into the mic and actually puts in a time code. So now it will be able to be used, but it's just not updated on the list.
Okay.
But the
Like,
time
what
code
does
will be.
Netflix care if there's a time code?
Well, it's for their originals specifically.
Oh, okay,
Gotcha.
that
yeah,
makes sense.
like you can get a film on there. Like part of the El Camino, the Breaking Bad movie, was shot on Alexa and I think the 6K.
Yeah, a lot of the movies on there that they put on there, they accept on there, have to be a part of that camera
Dude, I
list.
really
Unless
want
you're
one of
Coen
those.
Brothers.
Yeah.
And filmed a movie and some like old Alexa that has 3.2K.
Yeah, if you had a name attached to
Yeah.
it, and if you have the money, the money talks. But like I said, for industry
Or
like
if you know
us,
people.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they also, if it's gonna sell, like it's gonna
Yeah.
bring in
If you
more
have
subscribers.
a Netflix original Coen Brothers movie, that's
Yeah.
gonna bring eyes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, But you have to be on an acceptable list to be even looked at. But there's other programs that you can actually go into that actually sells you to different like Hulu and Netflix.
Hulu's getting really big too, so I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people are going over to Hulu,
I love
like even
Hulu.
like HBO Max or some shit like that.
Yeah,
is, like,
HBO
picking up.
Max. They're getting all the like new stuff, the
Yeah.
new releases.
Yeah.
I mean, Netflix is like kind of getting overrated right now. So.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I don't
they're
have
having
Netflix anymore.
It's funny. I hardly ever use Netflix. Like
I don't
I'll use it here and there. I usually watch a series on there. Like I just watched that Ginny and Georgia series.
Oh, I haven't watched it.
It's actually really. You'll probably like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. I like teeny bopper high school shows and horror and stuff. Like
Hey, that's
I'm
fine.
weird. Like I love like Bring It On and shit like that.
Yeah.
No judgment.
It's just weird. So that's why I was trying to make a high school cheerleader movie, and that's not going so well.
I mean, it
But
happens. But I definitely got rid of Netflix because I just don't think the offerings are just not
yeah.
too
Well, what you got to do is you get a VPN and you watch
from other countries.
German
yeah,
Netflix,
yeah.
and you get a whole bunch of different shows.
Well, same thing. Yeah, UK and I mean, because it's just, but it's still there's other programs that you can actually have to do that rather than. I mean, I just don't like Netflix in
I
general.
think I watch Hulu mostly.
Yeah, me too.
Over anything.
Yeah, I feel like Netflix, like a lot of like the series, and like Zach and I were talking about it too. Like it's just kind of like the same like plot or like the same like plot twist
Mhm.
specifically. Like
Yeah.
there's always like a random like character that just happens to like come out gay or like there's like
Oh my
this, like,
God.
sexy
Yeah, we were
shit.
talking
Yeah.
about 13 Reasons
13
Why.
Reasons Why. I was
Yeah.
just gonna
It's
say
just,
that.
like, it's just so over the top.
Like
and,
the first two seasons of that show were freaking really good, and then the third season, I was just like, why is everybody coming out as gay? Like it's so weird,
And it almost
right?
makes it
There was
seem
like
it's
5
like,
different people that came out in season 3,
I know,
and it was
it's
just so
it's
strange.
so strange, and it's like that they're almost trying to like alienate like more by like I don't know, just hyping that up
Yeah,
and
it is
stuff like
weird.
that. So it's like I don't know. I feel like that was something like I struggled with my writing too. Like my script had to be like so edgy that like everyone was gay and everyone was like a different race, and I was like I can't do it like this because that's
Right.
just cheating, man. Like
Right.
it's not genuine. So I was like, this is where it's like politically incorrect, and I'm just gonna call myself out on it before down the
Yeah.
road I'm successful and someone else calls me out on it. So
Yeah.
like it's like I'm like, do I really like want to make I don't know, I don't want to like get into this territory. So it's just like weird when you like bring all that shit into it, and then like with the Netflix series, like I just feel like there's so many just overused like
Oh yeah,
stuff
we were
that
talking about
happens,
that
like,
last week. It
so
seems like
predictable. Mhm.
every movie and series now has to have a black person, a white person, a gay person, an Asian person, a Spanish person. Like
And they don't even have to be
every
good
cast
actors
has
either,
to be
yeah.
like that in every movie now, and I'm
Yeah,
just like,
it's a little
I've been
strange.
noticing that lately. Like the new Wrong Turn came out,
Yeah.
and they had a gay couple, they had a mixed race relationship, they had a white girl, a Spanish guy, an Indian gay guy, and it's just like, what is going on here? Like,
Yeah.
what happened to just whoever's good for the role and just
Yeah.
put them in
That's
it?
just-
You
yeah.
know?
Well, and I mean,
So-
I'm all for representation. I
Yeah.
think that's
Me too.
important.
But you know what? I have no problem with an all-white cast or an all-black cast or all Asian cast. I have no problem with that if it works. Like whatever, I don't care. And I was telling Sean the other day, when I write, I don't write for specifics. Like I just write, and then I have a casting, and if you're black, white, Asian, whatever, I don't care as long as you're right for the role. It doesn't
I
matter
don't
to
really
me.
have like a vision, but like I like put it out for everyone just because like I always say what's preferred, but then there's
Right.
always like someone maybe that like just is so much better, and I'm like I can just see them as this person.
Yeah.
So.
So I don't know, but sign of the times, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
PC culture.
Yeah, but that's just the way things are going right now.
Yeah. I mean,
Whatever.
I feel like people deserve to see their cultures and stuff represented.
No,
Of course.
absolutely,
Of course.
absolutely. But I just don't write specific roles for specific.
Specific race or
It is a
gender.
weird thing to us. So I was working on a film as a writer a while back, and it was one of those where it was supposed to like be going up through a bunch of other people, and it started to get weirder and weirder, and it was more like, oh, we've got these people of like Bollywood, and we want to incorporate that stuff, and it's like this, like we'd basically be whitewashing that culture, and it just
Right.
kept
Yeah,
getting
exactly.
weirder and weirder
Mhm.
to where it's like, okay, so we're not. It's not even really the same movie. It doesn't like feel like a movie. It feels like a whole bunch of different things that
Right.
don't really fit together, and then trying to shoehorn them in to make a bunch of people whose names I don't know happy.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
at that point, it's like it's so far removed. It's like whatever. It's,
All right.
yeah, it just gets weirder and weirder. It's just
It is weird, and it's also
Mhm.
it's also um, like different for everyone. Like I had a friend post the other day that he's looking for an LA based DP that he had to be black, and I'm like, well, what if I posted that I need a DP that's only white? Like how different is that? It's the same thing.
Well,
You're calling out a different race, but if a white person does it, it's racist. If a black person does it, it's okay. And I'm like, why does that happen?
well,
You know what I mean?
I mean, I kind of want to defend that a little bit, and just that not knowing the story or whatever, but depending on the culture, I can see where sometimes that would be a benefit if you have a very black rich story,
Mhm.
and to have someone that has that eye that's walked that path
Understood.
and has the cinematic eye for it.
Right.
There's probably a lot of shorthand
Mhm.
that would go between the director and the DP in telling that story, and
Right.
that can help save a lot of time and
That makes sense.
make the project more
Yeah.
more authentic. I feel like.
I've shot 2 movies that were, I'd say, 90% black cast. Didn't have
I mean,
a
that's
problem.
like not commenting on the race thing, but like I will say, like related to that, like I tell Zach all the time, like the whole like female like filmmakers got to stick together type
Sure.
thing. I'm just gonna say it like while I'm here, like it became like almost like a culty thing. Like it was
Yeah.
like
There's a lot
men
of
are
female
bad
directors
and
around.
men are rapists and don't work with them. And I had like these mentors, quote unquote, who were like telling me like, you know, I know all female like film crews, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like, you know, do you want me to join that or what? So it was almost like, and so like I started going to like these, not to bash the women in film or whatever, but I started going to like some of these meetings, and I just felt like I'm not getting any knowledge on how to make a movie. Like,
Right.
what the fuck? It was just all, don't wear this, or you can wear this because you're a bad bitch, and you know, fuck those men. And it was like, okay, when are you gonna tell me how to use a camera? So
Right,
it's just
right.
like, that's like,
Oh, we need to call Paul for that.
And, like, one thing I don't want to be represented as
Yeah.
is a female filmmaker.
That
I
hates
just
guys.
want to be a filmmaker, and
Just
like
collaborate with everybody.
that's what I
you
just
know?
am all
It's like-
about. Like, I don't want to even like, I don't want Trigger to even get attention because
Right.
I'm a female, because then I just feel like then you're not even looking at my art.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
like I would love to like be successful one day and start a scholarship for someone, and I'm just gonna say, just send me your portfolio. I don't want to know your name, who the fuck you are, your age, anything
Not to get a
about
whole
you.
bunch of emails.
And I
Right.
just want to see, because I can't find like stuff like scholarships or grants for like people like me who
It's
just
hard.
want to make movies. They got to make movies about women's suffrage,
Right.
or I got to write something about how I'm oppressed. I'm like, dude, I want to write shit about like edgy kids and like
Mhm.
you know just like
Right, right.
high school and fucking dragons, like whatever. Like why does
Right.
everything have to be
Yeah.
about
Everything's
got to
be compartmentalized, you know.
Right,
The
it's
women
like-
over here, the white people here, the black people here.
It
And
just
it's just like,
feels, I
just
just wanna work
collaborate with
together,
everybody, right.
like with everyone, and not even address it. Like I even had like one of my actors is trans and triggered, and like he was so excited because I cast him as a boyfriend, and he was like, dude, this is like my first role, or like, you know, we're not talking about how I'm trans. And I'm like, dude, I don't give a fuck. Like,
Right.
you know, you're a dude, and like this is, you fit the role, and I like how you look, and that's cool. Like,
Mhm.
and it's like we don't even have to like overdo it, you know.
Right,
like I
right.
just kind of just like to vibe with everyone. So that's just my main thing is like I don't want to be like the girl who
Labeled.
like made. I just
Yeah.
want to be the.
You don't want to be a
director.
girl filmmaker. You want to be a filmmaker.
I guess so, and I
Yeah,
mean
sure.
maybe that sounds like feminist or something in a weird way, but like I just feel like the way like all these things that you know I've researched so much to find something for me to like pay off the post production or
Mhm.
something that I could like submit to, but like I mean it's like there's nothing for me, or like I have to like be like gay or something or part of the community. I'm not gonna lie about that saying I
Right.
am, like that's not fair because they do
Mhm.
deserve
Yep.
representation
Sure.
and like they need that, but also it's like dude, we need to have stuff for just other people who are like just straight females, you know, or just people. Like it's like there's not even anything for men on there. I'm like,
Right.
there's no scholarships for men. It's like, or they have to like be part of a different community. So I'm like, okay, this is just kind of going downhill here.
Right.
And like it's like I feel like it's less about the creatives and it's just more about we're focusing on the artist instead of the art itself. And that's just why like the industry is coming down.
Yeah.
So
It's just molding it to just separate entities. That's basically what it's ultimately coming. It's coming into like black cinema, you know, feminine film. Like even on, I think it's Pluto TV. There's channels, black cinema. There's Asian. There's Indian.
I feel like they're
there's
just isolating it more. It's
Yeah,
like they
well-
get like their own like I don't know, like in my opinion, like
Yeah.
as a woman, that's the only thing I can comment on. I can't comment on race or anything because I'm not in that community. But as a woman, like I don't want to be put in the female category if
Yeah.
I got to Sundance. I just want my movie up there. Like that's it. And so it's like I almost feel like in a way it's like when they have these all female like festivals that I don't submit to is because it's like it's almost like to me it's like saying I don't want to compete against men because I can't because I don't think I can.
Yeah.
And it's like I just want to compete against other people. I don't care what the fuck you are. Like so I mean that's just where I stand.
Well, that's another reason why people use pen names. They use different pen names
Yeah.
for as a director or even books. Like they just use a pen name so they can't be generalized by their name. They just use a pen name that it could be male, female, could be like it just.
I feel like Mace could swing both ways,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there is a male. Well, that's with an S, but rapper.
The other thing
And
on the
preacher.
other side, once you have your movie made, there's really nowhere that you can make money.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Uh-huh.
Amazon Prime's the standard. Like you can get your movie on Amazon Prime, you will not make money.
Right.
I have a movie on there, and I get a check every 3 months for literally $1. I'm not even kidding.
That's insane.
My friend Sean's got like 3 movies on there. Every 3 months, he gets like a $4 or $5 check.
So
Like
sad.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like I said before, when we first started rolling, I did have a movie on there a long time ago, 2012, and I was making money on it. Like I was making $150, $200 a month, just having it there. And those days are over.
I want to fix that actually.
Now you can get Tubi TV. You can get your movie on there. They take a lot of low budget stuff, a lot of horror stuff on there. I don't know what they pay out yet, but I mean it's impossible to get something on Netflix unless it's like super high end.
Yeah. Names on it.
Hulu, same thing. I mean, there's really nowhere to put your movie.
Yeah.
So you literally need to build up a Kardashian type following and sell the movies yourself.
Yep.
Yeah.
Self-distribute it.
I would say just like
And it sucks.
my like goal, which I don't know if this is gonna work, but I would just use this as this is just my foot in the door and this is my style. And if anyone wants to roll with it, then let's get something going and make some. This is just too experimental and obviously like it's raunchy. Like you look at it and it's
Sure.
I feel like it's good for like what I had and I'm proud of it, but it also is scary. So it's like nobody's gonna buy this shit, and I don't even think anyone's gonna want to watch it again.
And that's the thing. Me and Sean make exploitation movies, and there's nobody takes that.
Well, I
Like,
mean,
we can't
it
even
doesn't
get our
really,
movies
And
on
it's very
Amazon
low
Prime.
rewatchability.
It's like
it doesn't roll off the tongue in a way where
it's like
you're going, oh, let's go watch some exploitation.
right.
Films.
It's like
It
full
feels-
nudity, gore, like just crazy over the top gore. But there is a market for that, and we're still trying to figure out a way because we self-distribute now.
Is that like more the Korean market, isn't it?
I mean, there's a market here, and like people want to see this stuff, and we have a fan base, and we're trying to figure out how to expand that fan base. And there was a company called the Sleaze Box, and they had a Vimeo channel, and Vimeo they're not like YouTube, like they don't if you got nudity, it's okay. But he had a channel, and he was making like $3,000 a month on this channel because he had all these exploitation movies on there. He made them. Sean's were on there. I had a couple on there, and the reason we don't know the reason really, but Vimeo shut him down. They owe him money still. Didn't give him the money. They just shut his channel down. So he lost all his content that he's built over the years, and just for no reason. So we think he had put a movie on there called Amityville Vibrator, and there was actual penetration
Yeah.
in the movie, and
Yeah.
we think that's why.
So it's like pornography.
But Vimeo didn't even say, hey, this is violating our standards. You have to remove it. Okay, cool. We'll remove it, but they just shut him down forever. Like he can't get it back. So we're trying to figure out how to have a platform with all these exploitation movies on it that people can rent from us or buy from us and make money doing it without having to comply with YouTube standards or Vimeo standards or somebody like that. And the only way we can think about it is to make a website ourselves and drive all our traffic to that website. But it's just hard. It's a hard process.
Give me 2 weeks.
Doing that now.
Give me 2 weeks.
So
I will have fun.
it's a catch-22 because we're making movies that our fans like, but we're kind of capped. Like I know our Indiegogo, every time we put one up, we're going to make $5,000. Like we already know that.
Right.
We're not going to make more. We're not going to make less. It's going to be $5,000, and that's kind of our cap. So we're capping our budgets for the next one, and it's kind of hamstringing us because we want to make bigger stuff, but we just don't have the budgets.
Yeah.
Because our Indiegogos are capped at $5,000. It sucks.
Yeah,
We do it, and it's hard to make a $2,000 movie.
Yeah. So how long are your films usually?
They're usually run about an hour 15, hour 20. We got a couple that are like an hour 30. But like Naked Cannibal Campers, Sean called me one day. He's like, man, I got an idea for a movie. All right, let's hear it. So it's these guys that go camping at a campground, and they meet these girls, and they turn out to be cannibal witches, and they fucking eat them and whatever.
Cool.
All right, let's make it.
Yeah.
So literally after that conversation, 90 days later, we had a Blu-ray in our hand.
Wow.
So that's how we work. We're fast. We don't screw around.
Yeah.
We shoot over 5 days. It takes me about a month to edit, and then we get the Blu-rays sent out. We run to Indiegogo, raise our $5,000, and then get the Blu-rays made, and then we start talking about the next one. And I like that because I'm bored all day, and that keeps me busy, and I'm editing, and I've kind of grown to like editing. I know I told you I hated it before.
I love to edit.
But I've grown to like
so
it
much.
Yeah.
I hate it so much.
Really?
If I didn't have to edit, I'll be filming every day. If I didn't have to, literally, I would film something every single day if I did not have to edit. I just hate editing so
editing.
much.
It's like problem solving for me.
Yeah.
It's like a puzzle.
Right. Yeah, it's a puzzle.
I think that's how we get along so well too, is because like a lot of directors, they don't know how to use a camera, they don't know how to edit or do the stuff. And,
But you do.
Yeah, and so does she.
And that's what's cool is, like I said, me and Sean, I know how to direct, I know how to edit, I know how to shoot. He knows how to do special effects. He knows how to direct and write. So we're just a good team where I don't need anybody else. I need me and him, and we can make a movie.
Yeah.
And we'll bring a PA in to do Slate or whatever.
Yeah.
Someone to hold the boom mic.
Yeah.
But that's what you need to do is find someone, which you found, someone that knows how to run camera. You guys both probably know how to write. He knows how to edit.
It's like sound. Like we normally use this one.
Sound is always the
she's
hurdle
always
that you need to figure out. I mean, it's
she's booked like all the time.
Right.
Like us three, and then like Roberto, my DP. Like he's amazing too, but he's got his own like wedding thing going on and stuff.
So that's the thing. You find a sound guy, and all three of you produce movies, and you can make those movies for under $5,000, and just
I'd love
pump them out.
Just do something just simple, like nothing simple, but I mean like a trigger that I just overcomplicated and too many characters, too much shit, and it's like you don't need that.
Mace, it was because you were 17 years old and didn't know what the hell you were doing.
Yeah.
Like that's what it's all about, But most people quit.
Yeah.
Most people don't even like get on set. Most people quit in casting or quit in writing the script. They'll write a script halfway and quit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you've shown me, you've shown him, you've shown Tony, you've shown everybody that you have the will to finish something. And if you make movies and finish them,
you get a lot of respect.
You're going to get a lot of respect, and you're going to have people want to be in your movies
and
like
work
that,
with you,
and
just work with you in
want
general.
to work with you on your set. And that's how it is. I mean, people want to be involved in projects that they know are going to be finished.
Right.
And that's why I'm having a really hard time with this, because I always finish my projects, And this one I've cast it already, and I can't find this damn location, and it's sucking my soul. And I'm like, I want to be able to finish this movie,
Yeah.
but
I'll
I
look
have
around
this
for you.
gigantic hurdle I can't seem to get over. It's crazy.
And if
'Cause I've
any
never
of
had a
you
problem.
5,000 viewers or listeners, please let us know.
High school locker room setting. I don't care where it is. As
So
long
it's
as
a
it's
locker
private.
room,
What
right?
about like a gym? I'm sure.
But that's the
you
thing
have
is, like, I've
that,
gone to
or-
high
yeah,
schools
yeah.
and everybody wants permits and insurances and all this shit. And I'm like, look, I need this place for like 4 hours. I can get
Yeah.
in, shoot my 3 scenes, and get out.
I was trying to
And
think if I know somewhere.
it's just so hard. I don't know where to go.
It's a tough battle. Like I said, location scouting is one of the toughest jobs.
You know, and
to
then I got
do.
Sean in my ear. Well, just rewrite the script. And I'm like, dude, like, all the nudity, all the
I
like
know,
3
yeah.
kills are in the locker room. Like,
When
that's
they
like a
when they
main,
say you want it
and
to
it's
be
production
different,
value. You know.
You
And
have like your idea.
yeah,
your
I got the vision, and I want to make the movie I want to make.
Like,
Right.
He's one of
yeah.
those. Isn't there that studio in Tampa now that has the volume, like they use in The Mandalorian?
The big screen.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, my
we-
son's actually going to go to work there.
Oh what?
Yeah, he's graduating UCF with an
Cool.
animation degree, 3D,
That's awesome.
3D experimental and was it experimental animation or some shit? I don't know.
That
But
sounds dope.
I know
Yeah.
I know the CEO there, and I got him an internship. He's going to start actually in May. He's going to start over there. Yeah, it's pretty
very
badass.
exciting.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, you don't know how big of an opportunity this is to
Yeah,
work
for
with
real.
new technology. Like, come on, it's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, that technology is going to change the
Oh,
industry.
Oh yeah,
it already has. Like, it's incredible.
if you can afford it.
Yeah. if you can
Well,
afford
yeah,
it.
but I mean, look at how the Reds were, or even before the Reds, you had your Aries, your Panavision.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, what was a roll of 50 millimeter film was like $500 for
Right.
6 minutes,
Uh-huh.
something crazy.
Yeah.
And now you can fit a movie onto a micro SD card.
Right. You
Dude,
can fit
I
a
want to
movie
put
on this.
something on actual film at some point. Like I want to
Yeah.
like cut
Like
and,
a-
like I want to do that.
Like
so
a 35 millimeter. Like
I-
no, oh no.
I
can't
have like an
do that.
old camera. I have a
Yeah.
few, and I have like I didn't realize that like they were passed down to me, but they have like the film like with them.
Yeah.
And I
Like
was
the tape
this-
or actual film?
Like no, like the actual film.
Like film
Oh,
strips.
cool.
Yeah, like it's not.
With
they
like a
haven't
high
released-
8 camera or something.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
I have an
but,
old 8
like,
millimeter projector.
Yeah.
I
There you
I
go.
want to learn so bad because it's such a lost art,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, it is
But-
lost.
Would
You
love
know how
to
difficult
do
it is to edit that? Do
Dude.
you know how people actually cut them up and pasted them
Paste them
together?
together.
Well, you encode it.
I would.
No, that's not
love
what they
to.
used to do.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about now. If you're going
Yeah,
to
they
show
have
Oh.
little reels and they would
Yeah.
splice it.
Yep.
That is a bucket list
Crazy.
thing for me to do a feature film on film, and
Yeah.
I want to cut and edit. So like I'm like all for that shit. Like I
That
love
sounds
editing.
terrible.
Like,
That'll take forever.
I know, but so did my film.
You thought Trigger
You
takes
got,
forever.
wait till you're retired, then do it because you'll have all the time in the world when you're
Dude,
retired.
I had to like manually sync like all the audio too, which sucked ass. And like also like I lost like some
Yeah.
of it, so I had to go back and like I had to hack one of my old emails because like one of the guys like emailed it to me, and like I mean this the audio and everything.
I hate audio so bad.
Like, I
Me
do
too.
It's just,
Jason Henney's an audio person. Like he
Yeah.
makes a lot of money doing audio, but he wants to be a DP, and he's
Oh,
kind of
really?
like getting
Yeah.
away. He's got all the audio
He's shooting
gear
right now.
that he brings with us, and we use it, but he wants to be a DP, and so I cast him in movies now. He acts too.
I want a time code slate. I know those are really expensive though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like
Oh, yeah.
10 grand. Like
Everything
that was
is
like the cheapest
expensive.
one I
Yeah.
found. I know.
It's
It's
just
not fair.
It's
Wow.
not as expensive as it used to be though.
No, it's very true. Very true.
We were using like a chalkboard slate. Remember, like the chalk was
Oh, yeah.
breaking.
Oh,
in the
I mean,
yeah.
people still use that. People still use that.
We
We
used
use
that on our first one. It was a chalkboard.
Really?
we
yeah.
use an app one.
Yeah, we have an app now. It's like on a tablet.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
we
got the
used an app,
timestamp
yeah,
and everything, and it
sometimes.
clicks
Just
and-
right on your hand too. Like if you,
Yeah.
shit, if you don't have one, like.
But actually, the tablet app is pretty cool.
It's really it's you got to get used to it, but
You know,
it's
all digital.
Yeah.
You know, you click the thing and it snaps the
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
slate.
And then it
Yeah.
moves it forward. It's actually
Yeah.
pretty cool. No
It's pretty
time
cool.
codes, but it just has.
And
It
it's a
keeps track
free
of your-
app.
Yeah.
So what about like your
It's called
music?
Clapperboard.
Like where do you get your scores from?
We have. I have a couple people that score that'll do it for nothing.
Really?
I find music on free download
Like
sites,
royalty
and
free
royalty-free
websites.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got a guy that he scores and he likes doing it, and
Okay.
so
Yeah,
it's fun
that's cool.
That's
for him.
That is a tough thing to find too.
Yeah.
someone with
it's
the
hard.
sound score.
So often, I feel like one of the big things that does bring down indie productions is when you have some royalty-free.
Oh yeah, and you hear the
generic
same
stuff.
music and
Yeah.
everything. Yeah, we
The
tried
same-
not to use that. We'll put it in like here and there.
The same 3 Final Cut.
Yeah. Like Zed's Dead, it's Pulp Fiction-y, so
Mhm.
we were going with like songs instead
Mhm.
of like score.
Yeah.
And I got a guy that I had done music videos before, and he's an amazing guitarist, and he has his own studio and he can record his own music. So I said, look, I'll do a free music video for you if you make me like 8 songs.
Good idea.
And he did it, and I just
Wow.
shot his video a couple weeks ago. But yeah, they were like really cool songs and like that surfer vibe, you know, with
Yeah,
the
man.
Pulp Fiction
I want to
surfer
get one of
vibe.
those like little like keyboards that you plug in. I want to learn how to play
Yeah.
music too.
That's the thing,
I'll
is the
score
more
my
hats you
vocals.
can wear,
Yeah.
the less crew you need.
I love
Yep.
big
You know,
hats.
The
Yeah.
more you can do, the better.
I don't want to do. I don't want to do boom though.
Just to keep those
It's not
budgets
that bad.
down.
Like I got
I've done
that
it
one
a few
right there,
times.
and it's actually awesome because
Yeah.
you plug it in and it's actually the wire goes through the boom pole.
Oh,
Oh,
those are
really?
nice.
Yeah, so it
So
doesn't
it's
get.
not like all like in place and everything.
No, not that one. Not
And
that
now
one. That
the
was actually-
Bluetooth stuff's getting so good, you can almost just boom
Yeah,
it right
no.
into the camera.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Use a
that's another
Bluetooth.
thing. I was going to recommend the 6K because it has a better sound because it does have
Mhm.
that Fairlight program into it.
Oh.
So and it has the mini XLRs
Mhm.
on the side, so it actually has 2.
It has too many XLRs.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's why, they upgraded when they went to the 6K. It upgraded that whole sound quality, and I think that's a game changer in that because the 4K sound was terrible, but the 6K, I mean, it wasn't terrible, but people don't really use the audio from the
Yeah.
scratch. They use it for scratch, but now you can actually use the audio from the 6K. So
Yeah, because that was the big thing why I bought the original Pocket, was because I could plug microphones into it and then realize, oh, well, it's not that great. But now with the 4K, I can kind of do that sometimes, depending on what I'm doing.
well, you could do the 3.5 and the 2 mini XLR. So
Mhm.
you could, like I said, use the 3.5 for the time code,
Mhm.
and then you just put the mini XLR into your
Right.
boom or your shotgun. So it's actually really good.
Yeah.
I like it. But on that note, thank you for joining us today on Killer Collab Podcast. And once again, I'm joined with Mace and Zach. Hello.
Hey guys,
How was your experience?
this was awesome. Thanks so much for having us.
You guys are so chill.